All right, let's try a little thought experiment. Picture this. It's Monday morning. You walk into your office, maybe grab your coffee. But instead of that, familiar Monday morning feeling, that low hum of dread maybe, you feel something different. Your team, they're actually energized. People aren't just like punching the clock. They seem genuinely engaged, purposeful, even resilient. They're not just getting through the week, they're actually thriving. Sounds pretty good, right? Maybe a bit like a fantasy. Well, what if I told you it's not just a daydream? It's actually the result of understanding and, more importantly, cultivating something called human flourishing. So today, we're doing a deep dive into an article from Phoenix Performance Partners, and they draw really heavily on some fascinating research from Harvard's Human Flourishing program. Our mission here is to unpack how leaders, maybe like you, can go beyond just tracking engagement scores or productivity metrics. How you can actually build cultures where people flourish as, well, whole human beings. Because the thinking is, when that happens, performance, innovation, keeping your best people, the results you want, it all tends to follow naturally. Okay, let's unpack this then. How does this idea of flourishing really change how we think about success at work?
Yeah, it's a great question. And what's so interesting, I think, is that it moves beyond just trying to make people happy at work. That can sometimes feel a bit superficial, can't it? Flourishing looks at the complete picture, the whole person. It recognizes we bring everything with us to work, not just our professional skills, but our whole lives. And when people are genuinely flourishing across all these different aspects of their lives, well, the research suggests that everything else, performance, innovation, retention, results, it just naturally improves. It kind of reminds me of that Albert Schweitzer quote, success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. If you love what you're doing, you'll be successful. It really nails that link between our inner state and what we produce.
That makes total sense. And it really does shift the perspective, doesn't it? Because we hear employee engagement all the time. Companies spend fortunes on those surveys. But this article is pushing us like beyond engagement. So I guess the question is, how is flourishing really different? Are you just swapping labels here? Or is there a fundamental change in thinking compared to just chasing those engagement numbers?
That's a really crucial distinction, and it's where the Harvard research is so powerful. Engagement, typically, it zeroes in pretty narrowly on, say, job satisfaction. Do you like your tasks, your boss, your current project? Flourishing, though, looks at 6 key domains. Think of them as foundational pillars for, well, human well-being overall. Not just at work, but life. It's like building a house, right? If one pillar is weak, the whole thing feels unstable. But if all 6 are strong, people don't just cope or survive, they actually flourish. They thrive in a much more complete way. It's definitely a more holistic and probably more sustainable view than just asking if someone's motivated today.
Okay, 6 pillars. I like that analogy. It makes it feel more concrete. Talking about flourishing can feel a bit abstract, maybe, but the article really breaks it down. This is where I thought, okay, this is getting tangible. Could you walk us through those 6 pillars? What are they? And maybe how could a leader even start to, assess them? Because, yeah, here's where it gets really interesting.
Absolutely. And these 6 domains, they really do give us a practical framework. It helps us understand well-being better, and from there, build teams that are more resilient, more high-performing. Okay, so first up, happiness and life satisfaction. Now, this isn't about being constantly happy-clappy or pretending challenges don't exist. It's deeper. It's that underlying sense of contentment with your life, kind of overall. So for leaders, the question becomes, how does the workplace experience we create add to that overall satisfaction rather than take away from it? It's a subtle shift. A key assessment question they suggest is something like, overall, how satisfied are you with life as a whole these days? If work consistently drags that score down, that's a major red flag for flourishing.
Right. Contributing to life satisfaction, not just work satisfaction.
Right.
I like that. Okay. What's next?
Second is mental and physical health. This one feels pretty direct, right? Your team's health, both mind and body, directly impacts their ability to show up and contribute fully. If someone's struggling physically or mentally, their engagement, their creativity, their performance, it's all going to be affected. So smart leaders see supporting health not just as like a nice thing to do, but actually as a strategic necessity for keeping performance high over the long run. You might ask questions like, in general, how would you rate your physical health? Or maybe, how would you rate your overall mental health? It's still surprising how many places see health support as just a cost, not an investment in their people.
Yeah, absolutely. A strategic imperative, not just compassionate. Got it. What's number 3?
Number 3 is meaning and purpose. We talk a lot about purpose-driven companies, and this is why. When people find genuine meaning in their work, when it connects to something bigger than just the tasks, they don't just perform better. They actually report higher life satisfaction overall. Work becomes a source of energy, not just a drain. It's kind of the antidote to burnout, really. So, an example question here could be, overall, to what extent do you feel the things you do in your life are worthwhile? It really pushes you to think about the why behind the what's.
The why. That's powerful. Okay, 4.
Fourth is character and virtue. This one's interesting. It's about our ability to act with integrity, to make decisions that align with our values, even when it's tough or unpopular. And what's fascinating is that cultivating this isn't just about avoiding scandals. It's actually about building a high-trust environment. When people trust each other to act ethically, they're more willing to take risks, collaborate openly. That's often where real innovation happens. A really thought-provoking question is, I always act to promote good in all circumstances, even in difficult and challenging situations. It makes you reflect.
Wow, yeah. Acting to promote good, that sets a high bar. What about the 5th domain?
Fifth is close social relationships. We're social creatures,
Yeah.
fundamentally. And the quality of our connections, our relationships, has a huge impact on, well, pretty much everything, our well-being, our resilience. So leaders who get this know it's about more than just, awkward team-building games. It's about genuinely creating the space for people to form meaningful, supportive relationships at work. Sometimes people even call their colleagues their chosen family.
Mm.
And the surprising bit, strong social bonds actually buffer stress. They impact physical health, job satisfaction, everything. You could have something simple like, I am content with my friendships and relationships.
Chosen family.
Yeah.
That says a lot about the potential depth of workplace relationships. Okay, and the final one.
And finally, number 6, financial and material stability. Now, obviously, money isn't the only thing that matters, but let's be real. Significant financial stress, it can seriously undermine all the other domains. It's pretty hard to focus on purpose or maintain your health if you're constantly worried about paying the bills. So leaders who help create more stability here through fair pay, yes, but maybe also resources, opportunities. They're laying a crucial foundation for people to flourish everywhere else. A simple but very telling question is, how often do you worry about being able to meet normal monthly living expenses?
Mm.
Again, it's not about being a financial planner, but just acknowledging that real-world stressor.
Wow, okay. Those 6 domains, happiness, health, purpose, character, relationships, financial stability, they paint a really comprehensive picture, don't they?
Yeah.
Much richer than just, are you engaged? You can see how asking questions around these could really open things up. But how do leaders actually use this? The article had a neat idea about using the assessment questions without it feeling like, well, an exam.
Right, exactly. And that's key because leaders might think, whoa, is this too personal? Am I qualified to ask this? But the article frames it really well. It suggests using the 12 assessment questions, there are 2 for each domain, as an informal tool. The goal isn't evaluation. It's not judgment. It's simply to get some insight. Insight into how the way you lead and the way your organization works might be impacting people's flourishing overall. You could maybe use an anonymous survey to get a general sense. Or even better, have genuine, open, one-on-one conversations where people feel safe sharing. The aim isn't to solve everyone's life problems, but to understand, how can I be a better support for your flourishing here? It's about dialogue.
Creating that safe space for dialogue. I like that reframing. It feels much more approachable. And then, okay, once you have some insight, the article lays out 6 concrete strategies for actually creating a culture of flourishing.
Yeah.
This feels like where the rubber meets the road, right?
Yeah.
How do leaders put this into practice?
Exactly. This is the how-to. These are actionable things leaders can do. First, model holistic well-being. Leaders absolutely set the tone. If you're constantly frazzled, working crazy hours, neglecting your own health or relationships, you're sending a message, even unintentionally. That message is, flourishing isn't really the priority here. So, conversely, if you publicly block time for exercise or consistently leave at a decent hour, you model those healthy boundaries. You show your team it's okay, even encouraged, to prioritize well-being. It gives permission.
Lead by example. Makes sense. What's the second strategy?
Second, connect work to purpose. Don't assume people see the why. Regularly help your team connect the dots between their day-to-day tasks and the bigger picture. The organizational mission, sure, but also their personal sense of meaning. Like after a project wraps up, don't just jump to the next thing. Take 5 minutes. Show how that data analysis someone did or that report they wrote directly impacted a client or helped the community or whatever the larger goal was. When people see that link, work feels less like just tasks and more like a meaningful contribution.
Yeah, making that connection explicit. Okay, third.
Third is foster genuine relationships. And again, this is deeper than just mandated fun.
Yeah.
create real chances for authentic connection.
Mm.
Encourage collaboration, yes, but also celebrate wins together. Support each other through challenges. It could be as simple as starting meetings with a quick non-work check-in or acknowledging personal milestones. You know, the teams where people say they feel like a chosen family. That doesn't happen by accident. It's cultivated.
Cultivating connection, not just forcing interaction.
Yeah.
Got it. Fourth.
Support mental and physical health. And this has to go beyond just the benefits package. It means looking at work practices. Are they sustainable? Do people feel they can take time off? Are mental health resources accessible and destigmatized? Are you modeling healthy work habits? Maybe it's a no meeting Friday afternoon rule or encouraging walking meetings. Small things can make a big difference in reducing stress and boosting well-being.
Sustainable practices. That's a great point.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Fifth, develop character and virtue. Help your team navigate those gray areas, those ethical dilemmas. Guide them in making decisions based on values, not just convenience. Help them build that muscle of choosing the right thing, even when it's hard. It's not about lecturing. It's about creating an environment where integrity is noticed, talked about, and rewarded. Like if there's a tough choice with a tempting shortcut, actually talking through the ethics openly, that's a powerful development moment.
Building that ethical muscle. Okay. And the last strategy.
And finally, address financial stress. Again, you're not their financial advisor,
Yeah.
but you can champion fair compensation. You can provide access to financial literacy resources. And crucially, you can create clear paths for advancement and growth, which helps build long-term stability. Maybe it's bringing in an expert for an optional workshop. Maybe it's being transparent about salary bands and career ladders. It shows you recognize that financial well-being matters.
It's really clear listening to those strategies. When leaders actively lean into these areas, something powerful must happen. The article calls it the flourishing effect. And it sounds like it's not about pushing people harder in the traditional sense, is it? It's almost the opposite.
Exactly right. The article really emphasizes that performance improves not because you're cracking the whip harder, it improves because people are operating from a place of strength, purpose, connection, and overall well-being. They just have more capacity. And they mentioned seeing this in various organizations. These aren't necessarily, the flashy tech companies with slides in the lobby. Often they're just organizations led by people who fundamentally get it. Exceptional results come from supporting exceptional, thriving human beings. And that applies anywhere, any industry, any team size.
That's such a hopeful and, frankly, more human way to think about leadership and results.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to the challenge for you, our listener. Here is your flourishing challenge for this week.
Right. So the challenge is this. Sometime this week, try to have a flourishing check-in with one or two of your direct reports. Frame it clearly. This isn't about performance. It's about their overall well-being. You could say something like, hey, I've been thinking about what helps us all really thrive in work and life, and I'd love to just hear how things are going for you across the board. Then, maybe borrowing the spirit of those domains, you could ask, thinking broadly, life satisfaction, health, purpose, relationships, finances on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling overall these days? And, this is the most important part, is there anything I, as your leader, could do differently to better support your flourishing in any of those areas? And then just listen. Really listen. No judgment, no fixing. Just understand and commit, if you can, to making at least one small, tangible change based on what you hear.
That's a fantastic challenge. Simple, human, and potentially really impactful. Because like you said, at the end of the day, you're not just managing tasks or building a team. You're helping human beings flourish.
And the research, the experience, it all suggests that when people flourish, truly flourish, extraordinary results tend to follow. It creates this positive upward spiral.
So as you head back into your week, maybe mull this over. Which of those 6 domains, happiness, health, purpose, character, relationships, financial stability, which one resonates most with you right now? Maybe for yourself, maybe for someone on your team. And then what's just one small concrete step you could take this week to nurture or support that domain? Give it some thought. Try it out. And see what kind of difference focusing on flourishing can make not just to the work, but to the people doing it.